Hello everyone. Today we are going to be talking about locating and operating vehicle controls. So again, the first thing that we're going to talk about is the steering wheel. Typically the steering wheel is going to be on your left side of the driving vehicle. Okay, now the one thing that I want to make sure that you understand is that different vehicles steer differently. Bigger vehicles steer differently than smaller vehicles. Heavy vehicles steer differently than lighter vehicles. Okay, the height of the vehicles that determines how the steering as well. Okay, so again, when you do change vehicles for whatever reason, just be aware that it's not going to drive like the vehicle you're used to. So just always be aware of that. Now, one thing, slower speeds require faster steering wheel movement, and the faster you go, the slower the steering wheel movement the slower movement of the steering wheel is required. Okay, faster movements, when you're going fast and you use fast movements on the steering wheel, the likelihood of a crash is greatly increased. Okay, and again, you want to turn right, turn the wheel to the right. You want to turn left, turn the wheel to the left. Okay, now again, the accelerator and the brake. Now again, for those of you that do not know, the brake is the bigger of the two pedals, okay? And the accelerator is the smaller of the two, okay? Now again, we've talked about this before, but you want to place your right heel right around there or somewhere similar, so where your foot can easily pivot between the brake and the accelerator and apply force as needed. Okay, and again, the accelerator is used to maintain speed, the speed of the car. The brake is used to slow the vehicle, either gradually or if you apply enough pressure to it, can have the vehicle come to a complete stop. And again, I can't stress this enough: do not use both feet to drive. Okay, all right. Do not use your right foot on the accelerator and your left foot on the brake. Okay, your parking emergency brake. Now again, this can be in two different places depending on your vehicle. It could be in the center console, as you can see on this graphic on the right. Okay, or it can be in, depending on your vehicle, it could be on the floorboard in the top right graphic. It all depends. Okay, so just make sure you're familiar with where your emergency brake is in your vehicle. Okay, again, this locks the wheels in place when parked, so whenever you're on a hill, whether facing up or down, or wherever, if you're ever in a situation where you're concerned about your car's ability to stay in one location, apply the emergency brake, the parking brake. Your next is your clutch. Okay, this is the pedal located to the left of the brake. And this, again, depress the pedal to switch gears, ease off smoothly to engage the engine. Okay, and this is this is only in manual cars. Okay, so if you're driving automatic, you'll never have to worry about this. But again, this is for manuals. This manually changes the gears. Okay. Next things are your ignition switch. So again, if your car has an actual key, you would insert it into the ignition switch. As you follow the yellow arrow, you can see that, and you turn your ignition to most likely towards your engine to turn it on. If you have a remote key starter, again, just make sure that it is safely in your vehicle in a safe place, either on your person or in your vehicle. Apply your foot to the brake and push the remote start. Cruise control. Okay, this is going to be different on different vehicles, but typically it's located on the steering wheel. All right, and this maintains a constant speed of the vehicle. Okay, now, if you're driving 65, you engage cruise control. Your car is going to stay at 65 miles per hour. Now, this still requires the driver to steer the vehicle. Okay, this is not a self-driving car here. All the cruise control does is maintain the speed that you set it at. Okay, so you still must drive the vehicle in terms of steering it and stopping it. Now, to disengage cruise control, you turn it off the same way you turn it on, okay? Or you can apply pressure to the brake, and those two things will turn off cruise control. The next thing we're going to talk about is the gear selector, okay, the gear lever, whatever you want to call it. But this determines how your car is going to operate. So again, this could be on the steering column, this could be in the center console. Again, each car is different, but it all depends on your specific vehicle. So again, the main ones you're going to talk about is park. The main ones that you're aware of are park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Okay, 2, stronger engine braking, and L, maximum engine braking. Okay, but typically most people only stay within the first 4, which again is park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Make sure you understand what those numbers mean in terms of the gear selector. Again, park, your vehicle does not move. Reverse, you go in reverse. Neutral means that you're not applying, that your car is gonna move naturally on its own. Okay, so if you put your car in neutral and you pushed it down the hill and gravity is going to take over that. Okay, no, you're applying to the accelerator is not going to do anything to the engine. And drive is how you drive normally. Okay. And again, when you want to change from park to drive or park to reverse or whatever it may be, or drive to park, you want to make sure that you apply pressure to the brake. Okay, your turn signal. Typically, this is going to be on the left side of the steering wheel, up for right, down for left. Okay, again, you want to engage this before you make any types of turns, whether it's changing lanes, turning at an intersection. Again, a good rule of thumb is you want to engage your turn signal 4 seconds before you actually make the turn. Again, this is to help communicate to other drivers on the road what your intention is so they can be aware. Next, hazard flashers. Again, that's typically going to be in the center console, somewhere around the steering wheel. And again, you engage that, and then all of the turn signals will engage. So both in the front, both in the back will engage and blink. Again, you would engage these, whether it's your vehicle is having difficulties, visibility is greatly reduced. Who knows, whatever it is, whenever these are engaged, again, this is just to, again, communicate to other drivers that there's something going on up ahead is a hazard. Okay, and then finally your windshield wipers. Again, these are typically usually on the right side, and again, you can either pull them down or twist the dial on them to either turn them on, increase speed, decrease speed. It all depends on your make and model of your vehicle. Okay, headlights. Again, those are typically going to be on your left side of the vehicle, right where your turn signals are. Again, typically there's a little dial. You turn those either on or off. Again, whenever you're operating a motor vehicle in the rain, you want to make sure your headlights are on. And whenever your windshield wipers are engaged, you want to make sure your headlights are on. Okay, and then if you want to engage the high beam, so for example, when you turn your headlights on, they're going to be at the low beam. And then if you want to, say you're driving in the more rural area, you want to be able to see further out in front of you, you can engage them to high beams by pulling that lever towards you. But again, you always want to be considerate that if you are driving and there's somebody coming on the opposite direction towards you, or you're pulling up to someone, that you disengage your high beam so you don't blind them. Okay, horn, typically located in the center of your steering wheel. Okay, this is used as a warning device. Okay, so again, something like that's not used to antagonize other drivers. Okay, your hood release. Okay, this is just exactly what it says. Releases the hood. You must use this lever, this latch, this button, depending on what it is for your car. But this is what unlocks your hood, enables you to use it. Okay. Trunk release, again, depending on your vehicle, but again, most cars do have those. Again, if you're ever confused about your trunk release or your hood release, you can look in your owner's manual to find that information. Same thing goes along with your fuel doors. Sometimes you may have to press a button to unlock it. It all depends on your vehicle. And then sun visor, again, this is used to protect your vision from glare of the sun. Okay, locating your heating, ventilation, air conditioning, your HVAC. Okay, so again, it's very important that you understand what works for your car. Okay, because again, if you have an older car, things might be a little different. They may not work as well as they once used to. If you have a new car, everything might work like it's supposed to. And again, know where all of these things are on your vehicle. Now, when you're driving, okay, and you want to make sure you have all of this stuff taken care of. You have engaged it all, you've turned it all on, all those different things. You want to make sure all of that has been turned on before you start driving. Okay? What you don't want to have happen is you're driving, then all of a sudden you realize that you should have turned on the windshield defroster, and then now you're driving and you're distracted because you're trying to turn on your windshield defroster. So make sure everything is under control, everything's in the way you want it and working effectively before you put the car in motion. Okay, so tire pressure monitoring system, we've talked about this before, that again, depending on your vehicle, when it was built, you may have a computerized system that monitors your tire pressure, and if you do not, okay, then you have to you have to manually use the device. Again, a tire is considered significantly underinflated when its pressure is 25% below the recommended pressure. So again, if you see this warning light come on, go get it taken care of. You can get it filled up at a gas station where they have the inflatable air for that. Okay, again, some vehicles, depending on your vehicle, they may have a backup camera or GPS, a global positioning system. Again, just make sure that those are working effectively if you use them. And if you're using your GPS, make sure you engage and turn it on, plug everything in before you start driving. You don't want to be driving and trying to find your address to your friend's house or whatever it may be. Okay, so again, you're locating and operating vehicles devices. Instrument panel. Okay, so again, the instrument panel, this is the device that you can see on this graphic, okay, which communicates a lot of information to the driver. Okay, again, if you're ever confused by what's on your car's instrument panel, you can look at your owner's manual. Okay, now, whenever you turn your vehicle on, all of the lights, all the warning symbols are going to turn on. It is what it is. Well, then once after the car turns on, they'll turn off, unless they're engaged because they need to be fixed. Okay, so again, make sure you understand what these devices do. So again, so you have your speedometer, okay, that keeps track of your speed, okay, depending on your speed would be over here where I'm drawing right now. Okay, your tachometer is over here where I'm drawing right now. It's on the left. This refers to the revolutions per minute by your engine, so how hard your engine is working. Your odometer, okay, that is how much your car has driven. Okay, that can be right around here, or in the middle where it says trip, and it has the distance for mileage. Okay, your fuel gauge that indicates you where I'm going right now. Top right indicates how much fuel is left in your vehicle. F stands for full, E stands for empty. Okay, tire pressure, temperature, engine temperature. Okay, again, this just lets you know how much if ideally you would want your temperature gauge to be in the middle. If it starts to get more to the H side, H stands for hot, that means your engine is starting to overheat, which is bad. Okay, so you always want to check to make sure that you have enough coolant, which we talked about in another vehicle. Oh, I'm sorry, in another video. Okay, and then alternator charging system. Okay, we're not going to talk about that right now. In the oil pressure, we're not going to talk about that. Okay, now, so again, I talked about this briefly. When you turn on your vehicle, all of these lights are going to illuminate. As you can see here, there's a lot, your door warning lights, your headlights warning lights, okay, everything, your battery, your alternator, everything, tire pressure, all this stuff, high beams, everything's going to turn on. And then that'll take about 2 seconds, and then it's going to turn off. Okay, but your car is still going to run. This is part of what happens when you turn your vehicle. Everything is illuminated. Okay. Okay, so again, you have your turn signal, which we've talked about, which is 9 chances out of 10 going to be on the left. I'm sorry, on the right. Okay, and then your high beam is going to be on the left. Okay. Now, everything with your vehicle, when you should get maintenance done, what you should do in certain situations can be found in your owner's manual. Okay, everything that you need to know about your car is in the owner's manual. So if you're ever confused about what to do in certain situations, see your owner's manual. Okay, see here we just have some symbols. We're going to play these when I see you next, so I'm not going to spend much time going on over these. But again, this is just what the symbols mean and their names, what they mean. So exactly what I said. All right, and as you can see, there are a bunch out there. This is what they mean. Okay, so we'll play a game with this activity where you'll work on studying and remembering these. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. All right, thank you.